How do we create change in the world? I want to share something beautiful and hopeful with you today. Many of us think of meditation as something private, something we just do for ourselves to feel calmer, to breathe better, or to find a little peace in our own hearts. But over the past few decades, researchers began asking a surprising question. What if meditation doesn't just help individuals? What if it also helps entire communities? The idea is simple and gentle. When enough people in one place practice meditation together, especially practices that cultivate inner calm, compassion, and clarity, it may influence the emotional atmosphere of that place. Not through magic, not through control, but through coherence, like when many musical instruments slowly tune to the same key. This idea became known as the Maharishi effect, named after Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who suggested that inner peace could ripple outward into society. Researchers didn't just talk about this, they tried to measure it. In one study in US cities in 1970, researchers looked at 48 American cities over several years. Some cities had about 1% of the population practicing transcendental meditation. Other similar cities did not. Here's what they found. When that small threshold was reached, crime rates in those cities stopped rising and began to fall, while crime continued to rise in comparison cities. Just 1 out of every 100 people quietly meditating, and the whole city shifted. Another example is Merseyside, England from 1978 to 1992. This study investigated this in a high crime area in England. Researchers tracked crime over 14 years. They noticed something remarkable. When a group of meditators gathered regularly and reached a certain size, crime rates dropped significantly by over 10 to 13% and sometimes more, and stayed lower compared to national trends. Nothing else major changed at those moments, just the presence of collective meditation. Another study, which is the most famous example. During one summer, a large group of meditators gathered in Washington, D.C., a city struggling with violent crime at that time. Week by week, as the meditation group grew, violent crime fell. At its peak, researchers reported about a 23% reduction in violent crime compared to what was statistically predicted. Police numbers didn't suddenly increase. No new laws were passed. The biggest change was that peaceful minds gathered together. So what does this really mean? These studies don't claim meditation controls people or replaces social action. Instead, they suggest something softer and more human. When fear decreases, aggression softens. When stress lowers, reactions slow. And when inner peace increases, outer conflicts can ease. Just like one calm person can soothe a tense room, many calm people may soothe a city. So here is my message of hope for humanity. Whether or not we fully understand how this works, the message itself is deeply encouraging. Peace is not powerless. Stillness is not passive, and kindness has a field. Every time we meditate, we reduce stress in our own nervous system. We become a little more patient, a little more compassionate, and maybe we help make the world around us a little bit safer too. The ancient yogis and enlightened ones have known this for centuries. Understanding that meditation, which is the practice of focused, single-pointed attention, can help one harness mastery, peace, and expansion. Expansion also applies to the energetic system that is circulating through and around you. This expansion occurs and ultimately projects outwardly in your experience, radiating what you have harnessed and cultivated within. Meditation that precisely focuses on peace, love, compassion, cultivates this within. So where attention goes, energy flows. This is used in CBT, NLP, and many different therapies and techniques. The meditation on metta from Prana Vidya was designed by teacher to harness and cultivate the love aspect and centers of each individual. And it has proven time and time again its powerful effects, especially when done in groups. I personally experienced immense shifts using this meditation and seen this with my mother and others that I have meditated with. Now, if I'm to break this down with the knowledge of Prana Vidya, what is ultimately happening here is you are harnessing more prana, more life force energy. And through that, your vitality is increasing. Your capacity for this life force energy is dependent on a few things. But when you are actively cultivating a practice to make you more available to this energy and to harness more of this energy, you are doing this in a much more efficient and effective way. The meditation on metta is designed specifically for this. My mother and many who have attended group sessions with me have found themselves sweating during the meditation due to the sudden increase of energy. More on this in another video. It's a short, potent 20-minute practice that aids in personal transformation, cultivating love and compassion, increasing karmic entitlement, and purifying and strengthening your energy, and contributing to world peace and global harmony. As negativity can be contagious, so can peace and love. In yoga, as I have taught in my previous videos, we are more than just our physical bodies. Feel free to check out the video, the 3 bodies and 5 sheaths, to get some insight into this. According to the yogic science, each true self, the Atman, has 3 bodies and 5 sheaths, known as shariras and koshas, that it experiences life through. The shariras are the physical body, the subtle body, and the causal body, known as Sthula Sharira, known as the gross body, Sushumna Sharira, known as the subtle body, and Karana Sharira, known as the causal body. And the 5 sheaths or layers are known as the Annamaya Kosha, the physical sheath, the Pranamaya Kosha, the vital energy sheath, the Manomaya Kosha, the mental emotional sheath, the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellectual sheath, and finally the Anandamaya Kosha, the blissful sheath. The 3-body model focuses on where experience happens, on which plane, gross, subtle or causal, while the 5-sheath model focuses on how consciousness is veiled, physical, vital, mental, intellectual or blissful layers. So surrounding and interpenetrating the physical body is the subtle field, sometimes known as the aura, the pranic field, or simply our energetic presence. This field is not static, it changes based on our inner state. So what happens when we meditate? When the mind is agitated, the breath becomes shallow, the nervous system tightens, and the energy field becomes contracted and uneven. But when we meditate, the breath slows, the nervous system relaxes, and prana, life force, begins to flow smoothly. Yogic texts say that as this happens, the aura becomes clearer, stronger, and larger. In other words, peace expands. Prana is the bridge between inner and outer worlds. Yoga teaches that prana moves through space, not just through bodies. Just as heat radiates from a fire and fragrance spreads from a flower, calm radiates from a calm nervous system. And I would like to highlight that how well, healthy, and relaxed your nervous system is correlates to your capacity to hold divine energy. So calm radiates from a calm nervous system. This is why a peaceful person can soothe a crying child, a calm teacher can quiet a restless room, a centered presence can shift an entire gathering. Yogic science simply extends this principle further. When many people meditate together, the yogic sciences say that individual energy fields begin to synchronize. The collective pranic field becomes more coherent, and mental agitation in the environment subtly decreases. This is sometimes described as resonance or entrainment. And sattva, clarity and harmony, increases. And rajas, which is restlessness, and tamas, inertia or aggression, decreases. So why does cleansing and strengthening matter? Yoga emphasizes practices that purify and strengthen the subtle body. Pranavidya sessions do precisely that, but also meditation, pranayama, breathwork, ethical living, mantra, devotion, and compassion. As these practices cleanse inner turbulence, the aura becomes more stable, emotional reactions lessen, and peace becomes something that we carry, not something we chase. So what does this mean for our community? When we sit alone or together to meditate, when we breathe together, when we choose inner stillness, we are not only healing ourselves, we are softening the emotional climate, reducing tension, and offering peace to places that may not even know they needed it. Taking action in the world is not the only way to change it. Cultivating inner love, harmony, is an even more powerful way to create change. To combine the two, we have the ultimate skill to create positive, revolutionary change. In NLP training, it is all about seeing what environment we desire to attain, and then what behaviors do you want to do in those environments, and what kind of skills and capabilities will allow you to do these behaviors in that environment, and what kind of values and beliefs must you hold to be able to cultivate these skills and capabilities. So if you wish to create a loving environment of peace and love, then what behaviors are supportive of that? What energy and mentality is needed for that? And what skills are needed to guide those behaviors to keep this desired environment sustained? Surely not one where you erupt in every moment, where you are constantly stressed or angry. It is a skill of calmness, level-headedness, having compassion even in the face of the opposition? And are your beliefs supportive of the desired outcome, behaviors, and skills for this? Do your values align with such a goal? Are they centered around love, compassion, and peace? This is why I love working with people with NLP. It helps to ensure that all aspects of the being are congruent and aligned for the desired change. Cultivating a practice such as the meditation on metta every day ensures that you actively participate in creating such an environment, internally and externally. Also, practicing forgiveness, another Pranavidya practice, is another way of allowing you to continue cultivating peace, as without forgiveness, you cannot have peace or compassion. These practices are free and available for anyone to do wherever you are and are available in a few different languages. Message me to experience this for yourself or for NLP coaching on your journey to desired change. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best in creating a more loving and happier world. Begin by being the change you wish to see.